I was very unpopular. I showed this at a meeting, and I said, "Hey, we should use this for one of our clients that makes a product that makes people smile." And I said, "But we won't be able to use it in London." Get it? And they're like, "Why?" Because you never smile. Very cool. It's a vending machine. It's got sophisticated enough tracking, ocular tracking in it that it can tell male and female approximately your age and approximately your height, so it knows a kid from an adult. And what you do is you walk up to it, and if you smile, it kind of encourages you to smile a bit more. And if you really, really totally smile, the smileometer fills up, and you get a free ice cream. Yeah? Is that totally on brand or what? Simple. Crowds of people around it. It takes pictures of you and all your mates as well. One touch to upload it to your Facebook profile. I mean, it's brilliant. Giving away an ice cream. There are dozens of films on that on the internet, and people were lining up to use it. So, pretty cool. It's another. This is a project I did with the UN in Australia. UN Voices campaign was for disenfranchised people in Sydney. And people that were living on the street, or people that were living with HIV, or victims of abuse because of domestic abuse, or because of their religious beliefs. And what happened was they'd already purchased all this media space, right? Thanks, client. And so we had all these bus shelters all over Sydney. And the solution we came back to is if you see this person on the street, you kind of read it and it makes you feel uncomfortable. If you could talk to that person and hear their story, that's a completely different thing, right? So what we did was we worked together with all the phone companies in Sydney, and we made it possible for you to take a picture of that person's mouth with your mobile phone, send it to a short code, and about a minute later they called you. A pre-recorded call, but they called you and told you their story.
Just turned 13 a couple months ago. I am living with HIV. I was born with it. It's just a disease. What's the big deal? There's a life beyond the virus.
Because you look different, you become a target for ridicule and suspicion. I love being a Muslim because it's produced in me the best qualities that a human being can be.
Right, so that to me is where digital isn't this cold thing that you press buttons, right? It makes an emotional connection with another person, and it does it in a way that there's no way that you would ever walk up to a kid and start talking to them, let alone about their HIV status. I'm going to show you one thing here, so I'm running out of time. So this is the section called Weird, and all this stuff's on my blog, so you can go look at it there. Oh, Strange and Wonderful. Sorry. So. Part of my job is to go find stuff that is bleeding edge, would be one way to put it. And Cerebra Electronica, if you've seen this before, it's got awful music on it. But what the Cerebra Electronica is doing is trying to create headgear that maps the waves that are coming from your brain when you have brain activity, right? And so what they did was they took their gear and they hooked it up to a building that's covered in LED lights, and you were basically creating a light show from the impulses that were coming from your brain that were being read by the computer and then placed up onto the screen. I really like the guy that sat there for a really long time and then none of the lights changed. It was funny. Everybody's like, "Are you dead? Are you dead, zombie guy?" Right? But I look at that and I go, that's really cool. So could we take some of the smile technology and could we take that so that we could, go into a clothing store, go into a place and put that on and it starts to look at your mood, right? Or, an iPhone, some kind of weird iPhone thing that would allow you to do that without touching them. Yeah. It's the end of the line. It's been fun. No, I'm not done. There's still more. I was just saying, I was trying to be a good conductor to let you know I'm getting off the train with you. Okay, this guy, Hike, he makes films. He's a graphic designer, and he's kind of nuts. I'll show this film while we're talking. You might have seen this before. So, augmented reality, I get really excited about it. Hike's created this movie about what happens when augmented reality and advertising goes wrong, right? So if potentially in the future we're able to wear a pair of glasses, right? Have our iPhone, because these are basically big broadcasting towers, yep. Be able to broadcast, 360-degree images around us that we can view through our glasses. What would our world look like? And this is him imagining what it would be like to get up and make breakfast in a virtual world, right? So he makes a cup of tea. Everything's got timers on it. Everything's got sensors on it, so it knows when things are going to happen. He wants to start reading his email and check his tweets, so he changes his environment into this beautiful clover field where he can check all his stuff. Those are all the connections of all of his friends. If you watch over here, the kettle is starting to turn red. It brings you back into reality again. Because he's so lazy, he goes to the fridge. It tells him what's in it, so he doesn't even have to open it, right? Because it's all full of sensors. Milk. Oh, yep, it's nearly out. Maybe you should go buy some would be one of the next ones. So this is the kind of thing that I think in my lifetime we will be looking at, probably maybe not this intense, but augmented reality and being able to have messages and things around us all the time, because we surround ourselves with laptops and iPhones and Blackberries and all this kind of cool stuff. And now 3D movies are everywhere, and 3D glasses, you don't look like a jerk anymore, right? They look kind of cool, kind of Ray-Ban styly. And so it's only a matter of time, because they're already working on contact lenses that have a very, very low resonance so that you can wear a contact lens and be able to see augmented content, right? So you'll be able to pop in your contacts and be able to do what he's doing here, right? So he's at a diner, but it looks like he's in the middle of his house. Even the fake stuff, fake books, the fan, everything else. But when he steps out and he closes up his world and brings it in with him, that's what he's seeing and he's carrying around with him. And I know that you kind of look at this and go, oh, but when you think about it, all it takes is for that to have the same kind of flashpoint that we had with iPhones and that we're having with iPads now. And what happens when everybody's got an iPad? Or some kind of really powerful tablet computer that they're carrying around with them. See, that's his girlfriend. You can tell she's geeky because she's got geeky girl glasses. Yeah. And they're, communicating. All these brands in front of her, all these offers that are being made to her as she's going along the road. I mean, is that what the road's going to look like? It's our job to make it cool and beautiful and relevant. Yep. I like when they run into each other and then all their stuff collides. Now we're nearing the end. So when I've given this presentation and talked to people, and they go, well, what do you do with all this stuff, and how do you apply all that stuff? And I showed it to some, students and people last night. And they're going what do we do with all that? And I go, keep these things in mind. Keep it absolutely simple, right? Everything I've shown you today is pretty simple. It's not complicated. It's even simple the way that it's built, right? There's nothing to digital except on and off, right? Click the button on. Don't click the button off. I mean, it's that simple, right? But all the ideas are really simple. Even the websites I showed you are only one screen. Whoa. That would have been funny, huh? American dies while giving virtual presentation. It's a virtual stage, yeah? Keep the viewer at the center of the experience. If I'm going to be out in public doing and doing all this kind of stuff and interacting with virtual stuff, make it about me. Don't make it about everybody else. Don't make it about, I don't know how many people want to talk to a brand, but I am interested in talking to other people that have an affinity for that. So from a marketing point of view, look where you can build communities out of this, but where I'm the most important person, yeah, or you. Connect everything in every screen. I'll tell you what, I don't know how many people I have to bash them over the head. Well, not physically bash them, but hit them over the head to say, well, so where else are you going to put it? So you've made this cool stuff. Where else are you going to put it? The Lamasil thing, the stepping on the floor, that was a banner ad, right? All we did was stretch it. That was a banner game, and we stuck it on the same thing. And you know, I had to kind of go, well, why don't we put it on the floor? Well, why don't we put it on the wall? Why don't we do that? If you're going to make any of this stuff and make that kind of investment in mobile, make sure you can get it on every screen. Make sure your idea has an ending and perhaps the next beginning. There's nothing I hate worse. Well, there are things I hate worse. But don't you hate when they go, tell us your email address and how old you are and whether you're male or female and do you like this and are you like that? And you give them all this information and you get to do this cool thing and then you never hear from them again, right? You go, did I win the prize? Was I the fastest time? You know, you never know. So when you're doing this stuff, you know, aside from keeping it simple and connecting everything, you know, let people know, hey, these eye butterflies, there's only 100 left, right? The Lamisil thing, it had a beginning and an end. It stopped at a certain time of the day. And, you know, try to think about how you're going to migrate those people once you've got them, you know, physically moving around, interacting. What are you going to do with them when they're done? And finally, reward them with a great experience. I can't imagine what a bummer it would be to interact with something and put your effort into it and do all the kind of stuff and do all that, and it had a, ending. So make the experience great, yeah? So that's me. You can follow the stuff that we do at Saatchi's on Delicious. We've got a site up there. It's got about 200 things from around the world, case studies, client stuff. We've got all the really groovy bloggers, and we have a lot of really interesting people that write blogs up there. And you can follow us on Twitter. And thanks very much for having me. Stockholm's been awesome. Yeah?